This is the Mini, SLO Mini. It's 30 watts, solid state, and it rocks.
Why don't you aim with your best shot? Aim it with your best shot. Fire away.
Yeah, so this works actually a lot the same as its bigger brother, the SLO, what do we have, a 30, 50, and 100. Mike Soldano has stated that he kept the circuitry the same, the gain stages are all the same, he just replaced the tubes with ICs. Obviously at the price point there's probably a little bit more going on, but for the nuts and bolts of it, they tried to keep it as much the same as they possibly could. One thing that I noticed about playing through this, and I think this is why I like it so much, because this is the mini version, but its characteristics still hold true. So when I'm playing through, I've got a Marshall Origin 20, which is supposed to be kind of based on the Plexi circuit. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different overdrive or fuzz pedals down here trying to hit the front of that preamp on that Marshall, and I still never really cared for the tone I was getting. I plug up into this Soldano, and like the amp is the tone. The source of the overdrive is the amp. And when I'm playing this, I don't have any additional overdrives on. Maybe I would throw in a tube screamer to kind of boost some solos, but other than that, chorus and a reverb, and the overdrive is all coming from the amp. And my style of playing, I think I like that. I appreciate that. We've got a pretty clean look, master volume, presence control, 3-band EQ, treble, middle, bass, and our gain at the end. On this side we have a normal and a deep switch, and I have found that normal would be like for a humbucker. Deep you might want to throw on with a single coil pickup, say Strat, Tele, whatever. I actually kind of like it on deep, even with a humbucker, but your mileage may vary. And on this side we have crunch and overdrive. So crunch and overdrive, I think they're pretty self-explanatory. I will note there is no clean channel, and we can get into that later. That's the front of the amp. Let's go to the back. A pretty standard setup. I just unplugged this, but our power supply. We've got our speaker out, 8 16 ohm speaker outs, and then we've got a FX loop over here on the side. So I didn't expect a little amp like this to have an FX loop. I think that's a really cool addition. So like I said, there is an FX loop on the back, and I think it takes pedals really well. I've got a reverb and a mod Flamma pedal, which is, it's got a few different options, but I've got that one set to chorus. So I'll play a little bit with the pedals off, and then we'll throw them on so you can kind of hear how it takes pedals. And we'll throw the pedals on quick. So yeah, takes pedals really well. I'm switched over to the Telecaster because I want to show, it's not a feature, but it's like the old school way to do it. As I pointed out, there's only a crunch and an overdrive channel. It doesn't have a clean channel. So if you want to do something clean, it can't really do cleans, but it can do kind of edge up, break up, and you have to do the old school kind of volume, roll off the volume trick. And I'll just kind of demonstrate that now with this Telecaster. One con that I think that if I'm being transparent, I have to mention this. I've actually got a noise gate on right now. This is with the noise gate off. And my volume up on the guitar. Pretty good hum. I've had this plugged into different outlets. I have gigged with it, so completely different location. Still kind of has that hum. So if you have a noise gate, we'll kick the noise gate back on. It does take away about 90% of it to a point where it's not really an issue, but it is an issue if you don't have a noise gate. Versus with no noise gate. Pretty noticeable hum. From my own personal experience, I gigged with this a couple weeks ago, and I thought it did great. Like I said, it was a little noisy, but with the noise gate, I have another gig coming up in early September, and I'm going to use it again because I thought it was awesome. Now, the set list is mostly, for that gig, country rock, Skinner, blues rock. So this can perform very well. There isn't a high need for a lot of high headroom cleans. But yeah, I was thoroughly impressed. People on the internet are kind of torn, saying like, oh, it's a toy and you can't gig with it. I don't care. If it sounds good, it is good. And it sounds good. So I think it is good. And I'm going to keep gigging with it every chance I get. So this is the $200 Tone Monster. And I mean, it gets 2 thumbs up from me. I am thoroughly impressed with the Soldano SLO Mini. If you like this kind of stuff, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow, as well as makes me feel good that people like what I'm putting out there. If you like gear reviews, let me know down in the comments something that you want to see, something that other people aren't covering. I cover a lot of budget-friendly stuff because I have to be budget-friendly. I can't spend thousands of dollars on an amp. So the fact that I can review a $200 amp, $229 actually I think is what they are, yeah, that's a no-brainer for me. So like I said, leave a comment in the box below if you've got any suggestions. But otherwise, thanks for watching.